Okay, so I've got this open. Let me switch. Also, I just want to show a quick security thing for anyone that wants to know. If you ever get errors in anything that's Maya 2022, 2023, and you've got your Maya scanner, a lot of the times the Maya scanner will fix it, but sometimes it'll say corrupted script job, and it'll just make you quit. Even if you don't have 2022 or 2023 with the scanner, a way to check your files to make sure it's not corrupted, go to your animation editor, go to the expression editor, and in your select filter, go to by script node name, right? So right here, I can see you've got vaccine gene. This is a corrupt script. It is a virus. It's harmful enough. It will not hurt anything, but it will bleed out to every file you open within this Maya version. So if you ever see vaccine_gene, just delete it. UI configuration, this is just to make sure that it configures your UI when you open the file. And it seems like there's a couple of those. And then you've got your Animation Mentor Stewart script. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to delete all of these, to be honest. And you can just start from a clean slate, and that will clean up your file. So for anyone that wants to make sure their files are clean, just, yeah, keep an eye on the expression editor. Okay, cool. So you want them to go across the screen. Simplest way you can do that with varying height. So it kind of depends on what your camera angle is. But let's just say, for example, it's more of a left-facing view like this. And you're wanting to have varying heights. So I'm just going to explain the process for this without going too much into feedback back of the actual bounce right now. So let's go ahead and pull these out. I'm going to go ahead and make sure these pull vectors are farther out from the character. There we go. Just so his knees are always facing forward. So, okay, so in terms of workflow, the first thing I would note is that you're animating the layout control up and down. And it seems like the layout control must be constrained to the pogo stick. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So that's following that. Let's see what's else here. Okay, so we got the one bounce. Cool. Okay, so let's say you're wanting to animate him jumping from the far left of this plane to the far right, and you're wanting to have him go left to right, and you're wanting varying bounce heights, right? But let's just keep this animation as is because we can critique it later. Let's start by just selecting all of the controls. Make sure nothing else. Now let's control select the pogo stick. I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly because I'm not sure. It seems like you're animating this as the squishy part that goes up in, and you're animating this one here. So I'm going to have to select both pieces of Geo. Okay, cool. So I'm going to select all the controls, control select both pieces of geo and the group, right? And then I'm going to just set a key on the first frame, set a key on the last frame, make sure it's a perfectly looping piece of animation, and make sure my blend parent is set to 1 so the constraint is following. So select, select, select. Cool. Now let's, in the timeline, copy and just paste. I could do infinity curves, but because I'm wanting varying heights, I want to be able to manipulate this animation a bit. So I'm just going to do it the brute force way of just manually copying. All right, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps. So let's end this at 89. Cool. So now I'm going to select the pogo stick. And right now we've got TY, which is the up and down. X has no keys, so I'm going to delete that. Z, delete that. So we are starting at a blank slate. So I'm going to move this over here. And now I am simply going to first to the animation, into the animation, translate Z. Let's just move him over here, right? And I'm going to make this a linear curve, right? Because even though there will be like jump, 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 so there will be times of speeding up, slowing down, the overall motion will be linear. So that's not too bad. That's not too drastic. Yeah, I'll take that. I will take that. I think that's okay for now. So we've got him moving left to right. Now let's go into the TY. Let's vary up some of these jumps. So I'm going to use this control, select, and just start scaling up the TY. Cool. Now let's go in. So I'm going to say, okay, so he is hitting on this frame. So I'm going to set a key. He's on the ground for this many frames. I'm going to make these frames stuck and set it to linear. So now cool. So let's just keep doing that. It's on this frame, boom, set it to linear. Set it to linear. Now the problem is that all of these, so I took the first and last and always brought it to where the first was. So that's going to make it stuck a little bit too far back, and this last one's going to shoot really forward. So I'm just going to pull these up so that it's kind of a overall straight curve. And now the other problem. It's moving forward, and then the second it hits the ground, it's just stuck, right? So I don't want it to do that. I kind of want it to slow down. I want it to kind of hit the ground, slide a little bit, and then peel off. So the first thing I'm going to try is just setting these all as auto tangent and just pull them down slightly. And And that's not bad at all. That's not bad. I'm going to just test real quick what it would look like if I set these to auto tangent too. Not bad, not bad. I think as a whole, I kind of want to... So I'm going to base how big the TY is and kind of scale the TZ based off of that. So this is a real big jump. This is a really small jump. So I'm probably going to scale this TZ down just a little bit on this jump because it's not very big. This one's a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit bigger. So just kind of vary up that TZ. Cool. And now I'm noticing that the TY of these jumps is a little too drastic. So I'm going to start tweaking these to not have as much of an apex. And now comes the important part. The rotation. So he needs to be rotated like this. Not this, this is probably going to be a bit extreme, but I can always tone it down later. And then as he jumps, he needs to be rotated forward. And then as he hits the apex, right here, he can be straight up. Here, leaning back. Leaning forward. Apex. Leaning back. Leaning forward. Apex. Leaning back. Leaning forward. And there we go. So now I'm noticing there's a bit too much popping from this frame to this frame. So building up, I'm just gonna pull this down just a little bit. There we go. That's better. And then on this big one, there's a lot of popping. There we go. Boing, 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 boing. So yeah, that'd be my main notes. So for the rotations, it's pretty simple. It works just like a bouncing ball, right? So if I graph this, right, on a graph, as he comes down, he's going to be following this curve. So he's going to be leaning backwards, right? So that's why I tilted him backwards in the rotations. And then he's going to hit. So the tip, so he's moving forward, but the tip of the pogo stick hits the ground and sticks. So that's going to make him lean forward before he jumps again. And also in terms of just propulsion, if he wants to move forward, he's going to have to jump at an angle, right? So his forward momentum, if I can use my grease pencil, cross your fingers, we'll see if mine actually works. His momentum is moving this way, his upper body, but the pogo stick is stuck here. So that's going to take his angle of his body from leaning this way to leaning this way. So the pogo sticks, and now he leans forward, right? And then as he's in the air, he hits the apex, which means his body will be more straight up. And now he's leaning back again because he's starting to fall, and he's starting to lean himself back so that he can propulse himself forward. So now he goes forward, and the smaller the jump, the less rotation there is. The bigger the jump, the more rotation there is. So now he's leaning backwards. He hits the ground, leaning forwards. Like so. Does that make sense? Cool. So then if you wanted, there's another tool I always like talking about on the stream. If you've been around, you'll probably know what I'm about to say. If you do want to retime, just to make the timing a little more spicy, the retime tool, which is right here, is great. I'm able to say, okay, so here's the apex of the first jump. Here's the land on the ground. Here's the second jump on the ground. Third jump. And I'm just double clicking to set these markers. And so now I'm like, okay, so this is a really small jump. Maybe I want to make that quicker. So I'm going to drag this over here, and let's make this a longer jump. So now it's like, okay, so let's make this a little bit quicker of a jump. This one can be a bit longer, and now it's like, and there you go. So you can kind of retime it. And then if you have Animbot, you can smart snap keys. If you do not have Animbot, you can right click in the timeline and hit snap and pray it doesn't get overlapping keys, or you can go to curves, bake channel, and just bake it on 1s, 2, or 3s. But yeah, that's my main feedback. Any questions or anything like that? Cool. If no more questions on that. Oh yeah, what's up, Adriano? The question, Animation Addict, is always. So ideally, when you're animating a shot, you want to make sure that your timing is pretty solid from the beginning. Like, give effort and time towards your timing, but you're never going to know when the timing is perfect until the shot gets finalized. So for me, I am retiming my shot up until the animation gets finalized, because things can always be better. And once you start splining something, once you start polishing something, you're going to realize, oh, I can take a few frames from this and add it to this. So I am never afraid to retime my shot, even if I'm in polish. I am always retiming my shot, even in polish, unless I've gotten notes from a mentor or a director saying timing is good, don't change it. So I'm always looking to take a frame or two from here or there. So always be looking to retime your shots, provided it will not mess up everything. Yeah. So in terms of that, Animation Addict, that kind of comes with time of understanding how to set up your shot where it won't break. So certain things like IK FK switching. So if I have IK on frame 46, FK on frame 47, and it's switching, if I retime that and it makes that switch over more than 2 frames, that's going to break my animation. If I have space switching, where it's in head space, and then over 1 frame it switches to chest space, and I move my hand down here, that's going to break my animation when I retime it, because it's going to break those 1-1 keys. So always be cognizant where you have set 1 frame switches, and make sure that you set those back up when you retime. But it is something that takes time, experience, and just honestly banging your head against a wall, trying to, find ways to loosen up your workflow and make it more flexible so that you can retime your stuff as you're moving forward. I'm trying to find a good understanding of how to manage my time as a student. I feel like I do 8 to 10 hours on my computer, 6 hours. Let's see. Yep, always happens with the FKIK. Okay, let's see. I feel like I spend 8 to 10 hours. I work. Feel chained at work, chained to my computer. How do I find time for myself? That's a tough question. So what I would suggest is find, which it's different for every person. So let's take me for example. I'm at my computer a lot because I wake up in the morning and I start work. And I work 8-hour day, 9-hour day, depending on what stuff I got to do. I'm working 8-9 hours. When I get done with my work day, I'm working on Wonderwell stuff. I'm giving critiques. I'm teaching. I do a lot of stuff at the computer. And so I'm usually in a day spending 9, 10, maybe 11 hours at my computer. So what I do to keep from feeling, chained to my computer is I prioritize the things I want to do away from my PC. That way, when I am at my PC, I'm not wanting to go do something else. So I need to be a lot better about this, because it is somewhere that I am lacking is, I go on walks. I love going out on walks. It clears my head. I'm walking. I'm looking around. I'm, looking at, nature, clearing my head. If I don't do that, my time at my computer is going to be a lot more miserable. If I don't get good sleep, my time at my computer is going to be a lot more miserable. If I'm eating unhealthy, my time at my computer is going to be a lot more miserable. So I find with being stuck to my computer, it's way less about some big new thing that's going to revolutionize, and it's more about a bunch of little things that makes life a lot better. So when I'm getting good sleep, things are a lot better. If I'm getting sun, if I'm spending time outside, things are a lot better. If I'm doing the 20-20-20 rule of every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds, that makes my eyes a lot more rested. And then, if you have family, if you've got kids, if you've got a wife, if you've got a girlfriend, if you have some people that are important to you, prioritize spending time with them, even if it means sacrificing an hour, 30 minutes of time you need to be doing at your computer, because your mental health is important. And so 2 hours of animation in an hour with family is going to be a lot more productive than 3 hours of animation wishing you were with your family. So I would also suggest set your priorities. What's the most important things to you in life, right? So job, you have to have a job, you have to have money. That's priority number one. Family, you need to spend time with your family. That's another priority. Find out where animation and school fits with those priorities, and find out what other things will make your animation time more enjoyable and prioritize those. Then do your animation, and I feel like you won't feel as chained to your desk, because your mind will be a lot more refreshed and it won't be searching for other things that's bothering it. So that's some stuff that I do to help me be at my computer for 12 hours a day. Also, make your rest days actually restful, right? There's a temptation there if you have, so for me, Sunday's my rest day most days. It varies depending on how busy I am, how much rest I need, but typically Sundays is the day that I typically rest. If I don't rest on that day, the entire week after that is going to be more stressful. It's going to be more draining on me. If I actually force myself to rest, even if I want to do stuff, keep myself from getting to my computer, the entire week I will be more energized to work at my computer because I held myself back and built up some energy, stored it up inside, and then Monday hits and I'm gone. I'm working. So today was actually more of a rest day for me, so I may tomorrow get some stuff done. What do I do on rest day? Sleep, do laundry, clean my house, make some tea, nap, go on a walk, listen to music, draw. For me, because I'm always working, I'm always doing stuff on the computer, even the most mundane house chores becomes relaxing for me, because it's a break. It's something different. It's using my body. It's walking around. It's moving. It's nice. So that's typically my rest day. Yeah, happy to help. If that is all of the questions, I'll give a few more minutes for any last second questions. If that's it, I will probably call the stream here, just because it's getting close to 2 hours and I should probably get some sleep. So yeah, any last questions? Hey, thank you for the subscription, Alan. Thank you so much. I am located in the Midwest. So I am in the United States. So a state called Oklahoma. A lot of people say that it's impossible to work in this industry from outside of California or London or Canada. But after the pandemic, it's become a lot more possible with the boom of remote work. It has made working from the Midwest a lot easier. So, living near family. So currently I share a house with my brother, and then I've got family nearby. So yeah, family is important. Nothing animation related, unfortunately. I am the only one professionally in the art world. So, yeah, first one in my family to do art. Nice. Yeah, that's great. It's nice to start a trend of being in the art field, especially when you're the only one, because it's like you get introduced to so many artistic people and you meet so many people like you. It really makes it easy to connect to people that also have a passion about the same art you do. Yeah, and Montreal is great. A lot of animation studios. Montreal, Vancouver, London, Australia, California are all really, really big animation hubs. So any of those areas are very easy to find in-person work, relatively. But I'm probably going to have to call it here. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for all the questions, for the feedback I was able to give, watching me break down some rigs, show off some awesome stuff. Keep your eye out for Instagram, Wonderwell Studios, and have a good evening. So I will talk to you guys hopefully next week. So see ya.